Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Muhammad Ashraf, and today in this video I will be talking about the present perfect tense. In this video we will look at the structure, the function, as well as some example of the present perfect to help you utilize this tense in your writing. Before we begin with the present perfect, let us do some revision of the other tenses that we have already covered so far. Okay, so we have here this this graph which is for the past, present, and the future. Now let us look at the present simple. So for the present simple, we are talking about the actions that happen in the present time. But not only in the present times, we use the present simple to talk about actions that always happen, that happens on a regular basis or for habitual actions. So for the present simple, you would use it with phrases like every day, every week, once a month, right? So that is the present simple. Now, the next tense that we are going to look into is the present continuous. For the present continuous, it happens at the present time, but we are only describing the actions that happen at the moment of speaking. That is the present continuous. The continuous in the present continuous refer to the manner in which the action happened, which is a prolonged manner. And the next one is the present simple. The past simple, I'm sorry. For the past simple, we use it for actions that started and ended in the past. Right, simple enough. And the next one we are going to look into is the past continuous. For the past continuous, it is the same with the present continuous. It is used for actions that happen for a prolonged period of time. But as you can see, we use it for actions that happen in a prolonged period of time in the past. So that's why we use the past continuous. Now, on to the topic that we are going to discuss today, which is the present perfect. The present perfect, the action happens. We use it for actions that started in the past, but the action continues until the present and will likely to continue into the future. Now that is the present perfect. What you have to remember with the present perfect is that it is used to describe actions that started in the past and continue until the present and will continue into the future. To put it shortly, simply, we use the present perfect to connect the past with the present. I repeat, to connect the past with the present. Now, what do I mean by that? For that one, we have to look at the function later on. Before we do that, let us look at the structure. How to write the present perfect. To write it, this is the structure that you have to be familiar with. Right. Here, this is the structure. You have to add the verb to have plus past participle. Now the past participle of the verb, right? So here, the root verb eat, the past tense form ate, or for regular verb, you just add d or ed, right? But for irregular verb, some verbs you have to change the whole word, right? So eat, the past tense is ate, and the past participle for the word eat is eaten. So here, the subject could be anyone. Rahmat has, right? Verb to have, or so we have to choose whether to use has or have. Since Rahmat is singular, we have to use has. Has eaten the cake. Right. So here, Rahmat has eaten the cake. So this is how we write the present perfect. And then for other words, these are some example of the past participle. Write, wrote, written. Invite, invited, invited. So you see here the past participle for some verbs are the same with its past tense form. Invited, visited, right? Read, read, read. Run, ran, run. For read, the past tense and the past participle is the same in spelling, but the pronunciation is different. Read, read, read. Run, ran, run. For some other words, right? Run here, the past participle is the same as the root form. The same like become. Become, became, become. Sing, sang, sung. Bring, brought, brought. Right. Okay, so you have to be familiar with the various form of the past participle. Usually you just add en, right? Eat, drift, drive, drove, driven, right? Okay, next, what about the have here? The verb to have here, what you have to remember, just like the present continuous or the past continuous, where they have the verb to be, right? Rahmat is eating. Is in the present continuous doesn't carry any meaning. The same with has here, it doesn't carry any meaning, not the meaning as have, which is either, right? I have a book. I have a book. It does not have the same meaning as here, right? If I write Rahmat has a book. Has here is not the same as has here. Has here is either. Has here, we use it to indicate that the sentence is in the present perfect. Rahmat has eaten the cake. So, if we want to change this sentence into the present perfect, this sentence, present simple, Rahmat has a book, if we want to change it into the present perfect, it would look like this. Rahmat has had a book. Right. So because the first has here is not this has. This one is for functional to show that the sentence is in the present perfect. Had here is the past participle for has. Okay, so for the present perfect, there are various usage actually. So I will be highlighting 3 main use of the present perfect, and we will contrast it with the past tense so that it is easier for you to see the difference. Okay, the first one here, to describe action that started in the past but continues until the present. So I have a sentence here. I have lived in Kelantan for 5 years. So the 5 years that we talk about is from 2015 until 2020 for 5 years. 2020, which is this year. And then if I write it in the past tense, I lived in Kelantan for 5 years. So you see here, it is the same sentence. It's just that the main difference is the tense, right? I lived in Kelantan is in the past tense. So if you use this, it would carry the meaning of now you don't live in Kelantan anymore. So the year could be from 2010 until 2015 or 2012 until 2017. But in 2020, you are not in Kelantan anymore. And the next thing, the next function is to describe action that repeats during a period of time from the past to the present. Sheila has taken the driving test 7 times. Okay, now let us look at the difference between the first sentence and the second sentence. Sheila took the driving test 7 times. So these two sentences are essentially the same except for the fact that the tenses used are different. So the present perfect. So the first sentence, Sheila has taken, is in the present perfect. Sheila took is in the past simple. So what is the consequences of writing these sentences in these two different tense? Sheila has taken the driving test 7 times, meaning that now, from the past until now, she has taken the driving test 7 times. But will she continue to take the driving test? The answer is yes, because it is used in the present perfect, meaning that the actions happen from the past until the present and it will still continue into the future. But here, Sheila took the driving test 7 times. Past tense. Will the action continues until the future? No, because the action has already ended. It is in the past simple. Sheila took the driving test 7 times. So it could be that Sheila finally passed her driving test. So she does not need to take her driving test anymore. Or she keeps on failing and she already gave up. So she gave up, she doesn't want to take the driving test anymore. But the main point is, she will not take the driving test anymore. So you see here, the different intenses, but it's very little, isn't it? One is in the present perfect, one is in the past simple. But the difference in meaning is very big. Okay, Sheila has not taken the driving test 7 times. So this one is if you want to write it in the negative. So for the negative, you just add not. You don't have to add do, right? Like the present simple or past simple. Sheila has not taken the driving test 7 times. And how do you form the question form? You put has to the front. Has Sheila taken the driving test 7 times? So has you put to the front, taken. Has Sheila taken the driving test 7 times? The subject is wedged in between the two verbs. And if you want to write the W hash question, how many times has Sheila taken the driving test? Has Sheila taken the driving test? So you see, it's the same. Okay, the last function of the present perfect to describe action that happened at an indefinite time in the past but is still relevant to the present situation. So we know that the action happened in the past. It's just that the time in which the action happened is not important. So, but the fact that it happens is still relevant to the present situation. So you see here, I cannot pay for my meals. I have lost my wallet. Have lost. This is the present perfect tense. Verb to have and the past participle for the word lose, lost, right? So this one happens in the past, isn't it? But it is relevant to the present situation. Because I cannot pay for my meals. So I explain, I have lost my wallet. That's why we can use the present perfect tense. Or we usually use it in question. And have you watched the latest Avengers movie? You see here, we use the present perfect to ask whether someone has already done something or not, or has experienced something or not, because we want to know whether they have done it or not, and not when have they done it. So in Malay, we usually use with the phrases for pernah, like kamu pernah tengok, kamu sudah tengok movie Avengers terbaru atau tidak. Right. So have you watched the latest Avengers movie? Have you eaten? But if we want to ask about specific things that happen at a specific time, not specific things that happen at a specific time, we want to ask about something that happens at a specific time in the past. So you see here, did you watch the latest Avengers at the cinema last night? We want to ask about last night. We know it happens last night. So we use the past simple. Did you watch the latest Avengers at the cinema last night? Alright, so that's it for the present perfect. I know it could be quite confusing, but we will look at several practices for you to practice more. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.